Hey, yo, what the deal, my people? You know who it is. It's the Don, Tony Teflon, House Teflon. We pull the strings. And I'm here once again with my lovely co-host from Bartube, Bar de Porto. And we are here at the last episode of Game of Thrones, T&B Q&A. Bar.
Yeah, hello everyone. You can find me on Bartube. I'm very excited to be here. There was a chance we're not going to be able to do it this Saturday, but it ended up working out, so I'm very happy about that. Let's just give a spoiler warning. If you haven't read the books, we will talk about that, some Winds of Winter spoilers as well. And yeah, I think we can get started. Thanks for having me, Tony.
Oh, thanks for being here. Yes, it almost did not. Things did not work out with my job, and that's why I missed the James Johnson. So I apologize not being on the James Johnson show, but hopefully I'll be back there very soon. So the first question is from Dan Mans, and the question is, how long will Varys stay in Marine? Will the character Illyrio Morpatis show up in the show again? Bar, would you like to take that?
Well, I don't know how long they're going to stretch out Kevin and Pycelle's death. I don't know if they want to have it early on in the series or later. But I think that as soon as things start to settle down in the King's Landing, that's when he decides to leave. Tony?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long, or I like the fact that he's there. That's a twist that I did like that they pulled. I would like, but I think he could be there for quite a long time, depending on how far they go with Tyrion or what they use Tyrion for. Maybe he'll have the whole battle there and stuff. So if they do that battle, he may bounce during the battle and make his way back. If they're going to have him even do that scene. But I hope they do have him do that scene.
Okay, should I take the next one?
Yes.
The next one is from Joe Penhua. Do either of you think there is a story-based reason for the TV show's removal of an actual Lightbringer for Stannis? First episode was just a normal sword on fire, no warging so far, except for Orell or Bran, no mention of any Hornbinder or Jarman. Tony, do you want to answer?
Yeah, I think that they didn't make Lightbringer the way it's supposed to be, like light up everywhere like a lightsaber, just for because the cost. I don't think they wanted to go through that, and I don't think they wanted to show that much magic that early on when they showed Stannis do that. I don't know if it says during the prophecy, I can't remember at this particular time, if it says when he pulls the burning sword that it's going to stay burning, or that he just has to pull a sword that is burning at the time to be considered to be Azor Ahai. So I think that's the reason why they're not doing a lot of the magic. I don't think they want to go too deep with it and too crazy with it, and only focus on a couple of characters that have magical powers.
Okay, I think it's pretty faithful to the books. I mean, Stannis has this fake burning sword, but then he needs to replace his because it constantly gets ruined every time it's on fire. But the one thing that's missing is Maester Aemon telling Sam or John that it should be hot, and it's not. So they might just drop it altogether. Tony?
Yeah, it's quite possible. So just remember, everybody, you could ask a question and, rank up the ones you want us to answer quicker. And that's the way we're going to be answering the questions for this Q&A about this show. The next question is from Quado Cox, and he says, simple, is Stannis really dead? An off-screen death scene for such an important character throws a big red flag. Could this story be one of redemption and this be his lowest moment? Only reason I doubt is because the amount of undead characters that are raised. Bar.
Yeah, I was not sure about this one, and Westeros history with Radio Westeros had their show, and they kind of explained it a little bit better, and it seems like the director said that that's like the end of his story arc. It leads to a natural conclusion that he is dead. and that the fact that they haven't showed it just gives his character a little bit of respect. Let's just say that I'm going to assume that he's dead, but if we'll see him on the next series, I'm going to leave a slight chance that it's going to happen, and I won't be surprised if he shows up again. Tony?
Yeah, he's dead. I said it from the jump. He's dead, as you know. And as you said, the history of Westeros, and they did a phenomenal job explaining it. I really don't. The way the director said it, it's just pointless. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen Rome. If you did, and I'm not going to spoil it for it, but if you watch the ending of Rome, it's just about the same ending for Stannis as it happens there. So I would refer to anyone to go to that, and that is the way I think it happened for Stannis. But Stannis is dead, and that's the bottom line.
All right, so the next one is from Bearish PM, I think. Do you think the Azor Ahai story is dead on HBO Game of Thrones? I think you kind of answered that, but maybe it exists not in the way of Azor Ahai, but in the way of like who Melisandre is supposed to follow to save the world. Tony?
I would say no, it's not dead. I think that they've pushed it a little bit this season. They talked about Rhaegar. They talked about Lyanna. I think that preacher lady was even talking about Dany being the prophesized one over there. So I think they were going to push the Azor Ahai. The sword part, I don't know. But the Azor Ahai itself, I think they're going to push that. And they're definitely going to have that during the show, without a doubt. And well, Melisandre brings back Jon, which, you know, I believe definitely is going to happen. She's going to be doing it because of the Azor Ahai prophecy. That's going to be her motivation to want to do it, not because she's in love with Jon. It's because of that. So I definitely think that is the reason that they're going to show that, without a doubt. So the next question is from Westeros History, and we're happy to get your question and answer this. So thank you for submitting it. And it says, what are each of your favorite and least favorite moments this season? Bar.
Oh, it's really hard to pick. There were good moments. Well, the worst one, I think, is Dawn, when they had that fight where Bran got cut. Because I think that was the moment that I realized that it's not going to happen. It's not going to be good in Dawn. And I think that the best one was the Hall of Faces, because I love Arya, and that was amazing. And thank you guys for asking. We both really love both of your channels. And yeah, Tony?
Yes, I definitely love your channel, and thank you for asking the question. And I love the Radio of Westeros too. And that was a phenomenal episode, Battle of Fire, they just put out. People should go watch that. I don't want to be generic.
We just talked about it before we got started. We kind of love that it's like an old radio podcast with all the sound in the background. It's really nice.
Exactly. It's just like an old radio show, and it's like an old rap song, the way they storytelling rap song. That's the way I like to think of it, and I love those songs. So I don't want to be generic with my answer and just say something. So my least favorite moment, obviously, I think, is the burning of Shireen. I hate that. It was disgusting. It was hard for me to sleep after watching that, to tell you the truth. I did not like it. My favorite moment, I mean, I'm sure that the favorite episode, the Jon, the White Walker, the fight was phenomenal. But I would say the best moment for me was probably Cersei's walk of shame. I think that was closest to the books. And I think that was just that walk, and then Robert Strong at the end. Because you got to remember, up until last season, it wasn't really confirmed that, you know, the Mountain was Robert Strong. It was that actor who kind of slipped up during one of his interviews and said he was coming back to do some work with Robert Strong. So this basically is 100% proof that Robert Strong is the Mountain. So I like that scene the best, though, out of the whole season.
All right, you guys, let us know what your favorite or worst moment of the series was in the comments. Okay, next one is from Thomas Wanadu. What was Thorne's motivation for leading the mutiny against John? If it's about the wildlings, he was the one to decide to let them through the tunnel before. What changed his mind to go against John after he allowed the wildlings on that side of the wall? Tony?
You know, it really, I think that making him stab John first really made it a bad scene, because this is a guy who, you know, basically hated John from the beginning. He wanted to stab John right from season 1, season 2, you know. So having him do it kind of messed up the scene a little bit for me. It should have been the way it was in the books, like one of John's guys, you know what I mean, is the one, so it seems like it's a real mutiny. But it's hard for me to say. He must have just got people behind him somehow and said, hey, got people that are willing to do it with me, and he just went and he did it. That's the only reason why I could see him doing it. But
Well, so as Thorne in the beginning on the show and in the books, he was the same. You know, he hates John. It's really obvious, and that's it. So the problem is that they changed it from the Battle of the Wall. They gave him some honor. You started liking him, and then this series, they build him up as a good man, and then they go and say, "Screw that! Let's have him stab John." That doesn't make any sense, and the timing of that scene was an issue. That's the biggest thing that was that I didn't like, because without the pink letter, it makes no sense for them to let them in to do that. Just leave them on the other side. What's your problem?
I agree with you 100%. It was just having him do it just really ruined what could have been a great scene. And it was a simple change that they didn't have to make. You know, you had the character that stabs John casted. You have him there. Why not have him do it? You know, it's there. Why not just do it? It's not like you have to go hire someone else. You have the guy there. You have the reason. Yeah. Have him do it. That's all you have to do. You know, but hey, bad pussy.
Okay, next one is from Nora A. Do you think Littlefinger will do? What do you think Littlefinger will do when he finds out that Sanda escaped Winterfell? Tony?
I think he's just got to track her down. She's the key to everything. You know, everybody's whatever claim or whatever all ties into her. So whoever holds her personally, like possession is 9/10 of the law. Whoever possesses Sansa is the one who holds the fort. So I think he just has to grab her up and stuff. I think that could be the downfall for the Boltons eventually, would be the Vale, most likely.
It's kind of hard for me to understand show Littlefinger, because he does things that book Littlefinger would never do. And today I recorded my Series 5 review, and I kind of talked about this. He sends her to avenge her family, and he tells her, wait for Stannis. Stannis comes, and she's out. What was the point of this? I don't know. Tony?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. The next question that we have here is from Victor Ortiz. What are the changes from the books that you like this season, or at least didn't bother you so much? Bar.
Well, this is easy. Hard Home. It was a really, really nice thing to view. It's kind of amazing that like Dawn was so bad, Hard Home was so good. Tony?
Yeah, I agree. Hard Home was great. It's like I like the Varys thing being down there with Littlefinger. I don't mind that whatsoever. I thought that was a change, and you know, anything else that was changed that was good. Yeah, no, that was I didn't mind that. I mean, the Tyrion going through Valyria thing, I didn't really, the Stonemen thing. I wish they did that a little bit better. I liked what they were trying to do, but I wish they would have just did a little bit better.
Yeah, I also liked that Arya killed Samarin. Like, that was better than Raph the Sweetling. Much more satisfying. All right, next one is from James Bichelle. Season 6 casting news says they're looking for a legendary fighter, a paragon of knighthood with a famous sword. Is it me, or is that Arthur Dane? Maybe we're getting a flashback. Well, okay, Tony, I'm going to let you start.
No, go right ahead. If you have something to say about it, take it away. I have to think about this.
Well, I decided to do a quick video, so I recorded one about the casting news, and they did mention that it's probably Arthur Dane. Everything leads to that, so they either do a flashback, but I think maybe it's the actual Arthur Dane that just hasn't died with all the rubies at the Ruby Forge. Maybe he got glamoured, and he's coming back in the Winds of Winter. And like, they specifically said that he has possession of a famous sword. So, points to him, Tony.
Yeah, no, well, I didn't even know anything about this, but we're looking at the question, if this is the way it is posed, and it says they're looking for a legendary fighter, I would think that would mean the guy would still be in his prime. So I think it would be a flashback if it's going to be Sir Arthur Dane. And I just think that if it is, I think it leads to the fact that, I think that his sword is Lightbringer. I think that that's the only reason to bring that man back, is for that reason. There's no other reason to have him around but to have his sword there.
Yeah, and it fits for Dawn to be back in the Winds of Winter. That's why I think it might not be a flashback. Oh, here's a question from Tony.
It is a question for me, and it says, "Hey, Bar, how did this chick find Stannis with all those thousands dead, dying all over the place? She just happens to stroll up on him, and Ramsay and Roose Bolton couldn't. Now, shouldn't they want to catch him? Shouldn't catching him be the most important thing?"
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. We just see, like, Podrick. Maybe Podrick has seen Stannis specifically, and he knew, and he, like, told Brienne, and she kept an eye on him for that long, but the Boltons knew where he was too. So I agree, that doesn't make any sense. Tony?
Yeah,
do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's just disgusting. It made no sense. This chick, you have thousands, tens of thousands of people on the battlefield all over the place. And Stannis actually had to fight 2 other people just to get to his resting spot. And here comes Brienne with her sword and her sheath, strolling around from picking flowers, just stumbles upon him, didn't have to fight anybody, didn't have to do anything. She just happens to be there. Just like she just happens to turn away when the candle gets lit. And if the candle was lit, what would she do with all those 30,000 men inside Winterfell at that time? I just didn't like the way that happened right there at all.
Can I just point out that, like, it was broad daylight and really stormy. How is that candle even visible? Like, you can't even light it up when it's that windy. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I think the tower is broken. I don't think it even had, like, proper windows or anything.
This is the Children of the Forest candle, or maybe it's a glass candle or something like that.
That we must
don't know about. That's the only way.
All right, next one is from Westeros history. Do you think the Dornish ship is going to turn around or keep going to King's Landing? Tony?
Well, I think it's going to have to keep going. I think we have to have Jaime hate Cersei at some point and never want to be around her again. And I think this is what that's going to lead to. Obviously, when it gets there, I think Cersei will have basically taken over with her power already with Sir Robert Strong. And maybe that's how he gets sent off to the Riverlands, or to try to crush some rebellion or something, or he just goes off from there. But I think he has to hate her. I think that they have to get that hatred out, and I think this could be the pushing point where he just doesn't want to be around her anymore. Yeah,
because she's going to be mad at him, because that's another kid that got poisoned and he didn't save him. And I think that whole scene was kind of ridiculous, because Trystane is on that ship too, right? Mm-hmm. Trystane is there. So Duran gave Valaria a nod to go ahead and say goodbye to Myrcella. So he must have known what was gonna happen if he gave her that nod, or it's just a pointless nod. But if he knew about that, then did Tristan know about that? Because Tristan and Marcella kiss a lot. I don't think that Duran would know about that and not tell Tristan, because Tristan could die that way. But I think that in any case, they're going to go ahead to King's Landing, and that Jamie's going to be very mad at Tristan because he's going to be suspicious of him, because he didn't die. He didn't kiss Marcella. He's going to wonder like what happened, and they're going to hold him maybe hostage in King's Landing, I think.
Yeah, I think it. No, go on.
No, go ahead. I was just asking if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I just think that it possibly means that this person that's on the small council from the Dornish, they must do something major, that they have to have him there in the book. So that's what I take from that situation. But I guess, like I said, the guy looks like the guy from Entourage to me. You know, Vinny Chase.
I think
that's who he looks like.
Yeah, he does look a little bit like him. And I think we talked about this. Isn't it Obara that goes to King's Landing trying to expose Cersei for like the head of Sir Robert Strong?
Yes. Yeah. So she's the one who takes the council seat, right? Is Obara?
Yeah, so maybe they're going to have like Tristan expose something else that they know of, maybe what's going on between Cersei and Jaime, because they did talk about it quite a bit in Dawn. So maybe it has something to do with that. Anyways, next one is from Thomas Wanadu. How could Sansa and Jon possibly now? At least they would break their ankles, so they'll walk very slow. Bolton's just rushing into Winterfell and discover dead Miranda. The Sansa hunt would begin immediately. Who will save them? Okay. I think that Miranda dying, I don't think like he's gonna care at all for that. Like he wanted to get her off his back. She was talking too much, I think. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for someone to fetch them. Maybe it's going to be Brienne, maybe it's going to be the Boltons. What do you think, Tony?
I think if in the books, I think that Jane Poole gets hurt, right? Because Theon lands on top of her and she breaks her ribs. So maybe that will happen. Maybe Sansa will get some ribs broken and from their flying technique. I think that Brienne's gonna grab him up, and whoever helps him from there, maybe, I don't know, but Brienne's got to be the one to grab him. But there's no other reason. I mean, to me, Brienne's storyline was pretty pointless. She didn't really do anything. I mean, besides kill Stannis, if you want to say that. But if you look at everything, she's standing, watching from a distance, from everywhere. She's standing, watching from a Deepwood Motte, and she's standing, watching from the Light Tower. She didn't really do anything this season. So the only reason for her to be there is if she's going to get Sansa. And she has this magical ability to run up on people at the right time. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen then, without a doubt. So that's my take on that. And the next question is from Sweet TFY. Hello, beautiful people. How do you think Davos' storyline will go on? Given the casting news was having a good chance to see Umber's next season, and Rickon is at last hearth in the show. Will Davos be sent for him somehow, or will he be doing something else?
All right. Hi, sweetie. I talk about it in the casting video, so more on that there whenever I edit and upload. But yes, in general, yes, good chance of that. Tony?
Hello, Sweet Tea, my fellow small council member. And yes, I think that he has to. What else is he going to do? What are they going to have him do? He has to do something, and that's what he does in the books. He goes after Rickon, so why not have him go after that? I hope they don't outsmart themselves again and think they could do something better, but just let him go after Rickon. Please let him go after Rickon.
Yep. All right, next one is from Dennis James. As Daria and Jorah leave the room with Tyrion and the others, Daria's last words are, "Looks like it's you and me, Jorah the Endor. Let's find some good horses. We have so much to talk about," and stress the word "so." What does he want to discuss so badly? Tony?
I, you know, does the guy know he has grayscale? I don't know. He's, Dario, he's pretty crafty. He notices things. So could it possibly be that? That's the only thing I could see him really wanting to discuss with him. What else can he tell him? I don't know, but that's what would be, I would think, if anything.
I think it's going to be something a bit more jealous and possessive, like, stop trying to get Daenerys, it ain't gonna happen, or something like that. But maybe they just want to find Dany, I don't know. All right, next one from Eric Flores. Tony, do you want to read?
Sure. In the books, Nymeria goes to the small council, Tyene goes to the High Sparrow, and Septa and Obara is hunting Darkstar with Arya Hota.
All right. Thank you for clearing that up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That was a clarification. Yes, it was. So thank you. I appreciate the clarification for that, my good man. Next question is from Quado Cox. With the Sand Snakes killing Marcella, how does the Maggie the Frog prophecy play out now? Do you think this is just a goof, or did they purposely leave out the Valancourt? Bar?
Well, when that happened, you can watch the episode 1 review. I think that it either means that they're just not going to kill her, or that somebody else other than the Valancourt in the books is going to kill her, or that it's someone who is like really obvious that they don't want it to be that obvious, because for show watchers everybody's going to think that it's Tyrion, and I think all of us will be really surprised if it's actually Tyrion in the end. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I just think the prophecy is still on pace, because it's really just her kids got to die before, and that's just another one down. That's basically what it is, whether they be crowned or not. They don't have to portray that part in the show. In the books, I'm sure, just like, Renly crowned himself king. If she's crowned queen like that, he never really was a king. That would be her crown.
I think that there was a moment that Trystane and Marcella were hanging out in the water gardens. Ilario was looking down on them, and he's like, "You are my queen." He actually whispered it to her. So that might have been the crowning moment or whatever.
There you go.
But yeah, she's been crowned somehow. But they just skipped the Queenmaker chapter before she died. Okay, next one is from Icy Spots. What do you think Jaime's future arc will be on the show Riverlands? How will Marcella's death affect the arc and his relationship with Cersei? I think we answered that
I think
question, but yeah, I think the Riverlands for next series. Got any more thoughts?
Yeah, I think we answered it, and I think it's possibly the reason why he gets over to the Riverlands. I think they have to bring Blackfish back. Why not? He was a good character. Next question is from Elaine Stoina. If Stannis Baratheon died, the last survivor of his house would be the Bank of Bravos to collect his debt. How would the Bank of Bravos collect his debt? I don't think the Bank of Bravos is rich, and I'm sure they've taken losses before. So I'm sure they will find somebody else who was willing to say, "Hey, we'll give you money if you pay off this guy's debt too." And I'm sure they'll have billion takers to do that.
Well, we've seen the idea of life insurance on the show and in the books, I think. Maybe, if you get a mortgage, you need to get life insurance to be able to pay that off. So maybe if you get a big loan from the Iron Bank of Bravos, you need some insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, Pink Ghost 1. Will they remove the stag from the opening credits now that there are no Baratheons? I don't think so. I think there is still one more. There is Gendry. He's probably going to be there of the House Baratheon. Tony?
Yeah, there's still, we also have Edric Storm is there, right? He's still a Baratheon. He's a recognized Baratheon. Everyone knows he's a Baratheon. So I think he has a chance to take over if everything.
Yeah, but the fact that there is no Edric Storm in the books, it kind of means that he's probably not going to do anything, and that it's going to be Gendry.
He's in the books. Edric is in the books. He's not in the show.
No, on the show. Yeah. But if there's going to be an heir House Baratheon, I think it's important enough to include him on the show.
Yes, you're right. And I mean, I think everyone wants it to be Gendry, and it'd be great if it was Gendry. You know, he fits the mold. He's a warrior. He looks just like Robert. You know, he's strong. Why not? You know, give him storms then.
Yeah.
Next question is from Dan Mans, and he asks, will the grayscale sickness spread through Marine like a plague, i.e. from Jorah Mormont? Bar.
Yes. Tony?
Yes, I have to, without a doubt, agree that why else have him there with it? It has to spread through something, and he's the one to do it. Next question, real quick, is from James Bruchel. It's a very fast one. Clegane Bowl. Yes or no, Bar? Do you believe in it?
I think there is some evidence to it in the books. The Hound does think about it, and he really wanted it, but I think that the moment he turned into the grave digger, he was done with it, and I think that the only person who's going to snap him out of that zen is Sansa, possibly. I don't think he's going to fight his brother, though. Tony?
No Clegane Bowl. I gave my opinion on the Clegane Bowl, who I think would defeat the Mountain before, but it won't be a Clegane Bowl. I mean,
who do you think?
I mean, I think that it's possible that the show, they could give you that. They could just do it just to do it because, you know, just to say, hey, the fans want a Clegane Bowl. Doesn't mean it's going to go down like that in the books, but, you know, I think it has to be two people, and the prophecy says I think it's got to be Jaime Lannister and somebody else. It's going to take two people to bring this man down. I don't think one person will defeat the Mountain. When the prophecy with when he has the goo coming out of the mask, the big shadow of the Mountain, I think it's Jaime Lannister, and there's somebody else that will double team the Mountain and destroy and beat him in the end.
All right, I think maybe if we have the Riverlands, we're going to see something that resembles the Hound. And I say that because on Game of Thrones, on the HBO episode guide, they flat out wrote that Stannis was murdered by Brienne. They said that Jon was killed by his fellow men. But about the Hound, it says that Arya left him to die. It doesn't say that he died. So I think that next series we're going to get more of the Riverlands, and we're going to get maybe a confirmation of the Gravedigger theory, although I'm pretty much sold on that. All right, next one is from AU Packmule. What has D&D done that makes you want to come back next year to watch the show? Not much this series. The Hard Home episode was brilliant. They've done some good things. It's not like it was all bad, but this series was pretty bad. Tony?
I think the Hard Home is the only thing I'm more interested in than the White Walkers. Seeing that's the only interest I really have, is to seeing what goes down with them. That was it, basically. And
the problem is, it might all be made up. There might not be like this mythical Night King at all. So, whatever.
Yeah. You know, it's like I said, people are going to have to start making a choice whether you're going to have to watch. Not next season, but because I think the book would be out before next season. I think it's really the following season after that will be the big decision.
I think that they proved that they don't want to stick to the books when it comes to the time. They don't want to do one season, one book. So I think that even if we'll get the book out by next series, we're going to get some Dream of Spring spoilers as well. I don't trust them not to be honest. All right, Eric Flores. With Varys and Meereen in season 6, can we see Littlefinger doing the Dance with the Dragon epilogue chapter? Yes. I mean, I always say that Varys and Littlefinger are kind of working in the same goal. I have this hunch that they're working in cahoots, so that would not surprise me at all. Tony?
I agree. That would work. You have Littlefinger be the one to kill them and do that. It makes perfect sense, and I think that great possibility of that happening, and I would not be mad if it went down like that. The next question from Joshua, and he asks, what do you guys think about the High Septon being Howland Reed? Bar, you have an opinion on that?
No. I'm gonna say no. Tony?
Yeah, no, I'm going to say that very fast too. No, I don't even think that it's feasible, that it's even why people even think that. It's,
Because they have the same haircut.
yeah, okay. No, 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 and no again. The
And
next
also, I
question.
think he's like small in stature, so maybe it means he's a crowned man, but yeah, I don't buy it.
Maybe Terry's a chronic man then too. All right, let's go with Chubb's Chubb, and he says, "Do you think Brienne has spared and taken Stannis hostage? Also, why would one of the best military commanders march with half an army?" I think this goes to Preston Jacobs' video, which is a very good video that he had put out there, and he gave details of why he believes that Stannis is alive and Stannis sent half of his army off. It was just a ploy, and they're going to come back and sack him from the back. Nope. Sorry. Don't think so. I just think he's gone. There's no hostage. There's no nothing. It's just a done deal.
Yeah, I agree. I still have. I'm going to leave some room for doubt, though, on this one.
Room
All
for
right.
doubt.
Yeah, because they don't show it. Whenever they don't show it, I have room for doubt.
Yeah, I guess you could say that's Game of Thrones. There's always room for them just to say, all right, he's back. But I just don't know what significance it would play to bring him back. And we'll see exactly what happens. But I think he's dead. I really do.
I'm going to give it, I think, like 93% that he's dead and an extra 7 for doubt. Those are my odds.
Fair enough.
All right, next one is from Victor Ortiz. Do you think Dany and Arya will both make a break for Westeros next season? Well, we'll have to see in the Winds of Winter, because we're pretty much at the end of their storylines. I think that they're both going to be back towards the end of the books and maybe towards the end of the series. But they still have stuff to do there. Tony?
I think that, you know, they have to. She has to come at least. Yeah, I think they'll both be back next season without a doubt. They will be in. They have to. I mean, if there are only 2 seasons left, how much are you going to give? She doesn't make it back next season. She's going to make it back right in the final season when the White Walkers attack at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, you know, this is save the day. I don't know if
I think she's going to save some stuff and then die. I think she's not going to spend a lot of time in Westeros at all.
I think that she comes back next season. We shall see what happens in that situation. But I do think Dany does die too. I agree with you on that. The next question is from Lim Productions, and he says, "Do you think Stannis is going to lose the Battle of Ice now?"
Yeah, can we just point out they dropped, like, the books are called A Song of Ice and Fire, and they just dropped the Battle of Ice, and it seems like nothing is prepared for the Battle of Fire. They might just drop it as well. So I think that would be the theme of Series 5. Like, screw the books, let's do our own thing. Tony?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna lose. It's too set up for him to win. He's got the holes in the lake. He's got the lay of the terrain. He's got the Manderleys behind the Bolton's lines coming to help him too. So I just don't see how it's possible for him to lose the Battle of Ice. I don't see it unless the Manderleys are lying and they're really with the Boltons, which I can't believe they are. I mean, Walter Manderley was attacked by the Frey. I just don't see how he's losing this battle. I really don't. Maybe later on, I think he'll be in a much more desperate situation, and that's when he'll sacrifice Shireen. Because you got to have this, at least George R. R. Martin, I think you have to have him show him at least win one battle in these books. I mean, he's got to win something here. You know, you can't just have him losing. And the Wildling thing to me wasn't a battle. That was a slaughter. I mean, he's got to win a battle here. And I think he's got it. Yeah. This will be the one.
Yeah, they need to. You need to give him a little bit of hope before you kill him. He needs to have a little bit of success. You need to hope that he's going to do well, and that's when they kill your character. You know, that's when it happens, not when they're down, when they're like, how do you say, rest on their laurels? You know, when they're relaxed, like everything is going so well, that's when they lose. All right, Blue-Eyed Queen. Do you think they'll show Bran next season talking to Theon to remember who he is? Yeah, I hope so, but no. Tony?
I think they're going to show him, but I don't know if they're going to show him talking to Theon. But I definitely think they're going to have him talking to some people. Maybe just, crows saying Theon's name or something like that.
I think that what they could do is have Theon walk around, flip some buckets in next to the weirwood, and then have like the wind blow and the leaves rustle a little bit, and like to show that he's a little bit paranoid, and people are going to think like he's really insane. But yeah, he's not in there anymore. He's not in Winterfell, so he needs to be captured. Like, he's not going to walk around, I don't think. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Theon they may have, if he doesn't have any significant role to play, they may have him get caught by Ramsay to let Sansa go. That may be his thing, that he gets caught and killed by Ramsay and the dogs while allowing Sansa and Brienne to escape. They may just end him right there if he doesn't have anything else major to do in the books. But I think he does. So, because, when Stannis has him captured in the books right now, it seems like he's going to be they're begging for him to be sacrificed to the weirwood tree in that scene. And Asha's even saying, his sister's telling him, Stannis, to sacrifice him to the old god, to the weirwood tree at that particular time before the battle happens with Ramsay.
That's going to be like so weird to have that happen through Bran's point of view. If that happens, like when he has that vision where he tastes the blood in the tree, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that would be
but yeah,
King's blood.
I think that I used to think that it was about King's blood, and I think that we've seen that it's not just the King's blood, it's the sacrifice. Somebody has to sacrifice a loved one. So I think that even if he does get sacrificed, like to save Shireen, that it's just not gonna work. But yeah, I think that he doesn't have much to do on the show. All right, let's move on. Harm you? Tony? I don't know.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Let's just say H. That would be the name.
Harum. Okay. What do you both think is the most likely outcome for Jon, out of dying completely, being wogged by the others, or being resurrected by Miss Melisandre? Do you think he'll become something similar to Cold Hands because of his dark blood? Tony?
No, he won't be anything close to Cold Hands. He's gonna get. They said it in the Oxford address when they were talking, and Jon Snow was saying, "I want to be inside of a wolf." They said point blank, "Wait till next season." Next season. Yeah. So he's gonna go into the wolf, and then Melisandre is gonna bring him out of the wolf back into his body. That's what I think will happen there.
Yeah. And I think that, like, Kit's passion for saying that about the wolf is to say to everybody now that he's really dead and that he's not coming back, because we all know that's BS. All right, Victor Ortiz. Besides one possible case of necromancy, what will the Red Woman play in season 6? Tony?
Red Woman is there to bring Jon back to life. That is all she's there for, and that is what she is there for, without doubt.
Yeah.
Next question we're going through is I'm just going to ask a question. It says, why do you think D&D decided to ruin Dawn this season? What do you think the overall plan will be for Dawn? Do you think George R. R. Martin is secretly pissed at them for such a poor portrayal of one of the places in the books? Bar?
I don't even know where to begin. I think they said, you know what, we can get this really nice place to film at, so let's just make our own fan fiction. That Dawn is fan fiction this season. The only thing that was good was Duran. Tony?
There is no Dawn to me. I don't even, that didn't even exist. That never happened. And I'm just gonna blink my eyes and it never happened and just hope to start fresh next year and hopefully it gets better. Next question is, I've read online that the writers on the show were not big fans of Stannis. Could this be why they butchered his character on the show? Also, I was disappointed Jon Snow didn't say ghost as his last words, or did we see the pink? We did not see the pink letter. Your thoughts, Bar? Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a lot of questions. Yeah, they don't like Stannis. I don't think they get Stannis completely. There are some characters they get really well and some they just don't. Also disappointed Jon Snow didn't. Yeah, I think we all agree on what was wrong with that scene. Tony?
Yeah, you know, they didn't like Stannis and it was apparent, and I think people are human. If they didn't like him, they didn't like him, and that's the way they decided to portray him. Maybe they didn't like him because they knew he burned his daughter, and they knew that from the beginning, and that's why they treated him the way they treated him and stuff, you know, so.
Yeah,
that's where I
but,
think that.
you know, if you're biased, then you need to admit that and to understand that and to try to balance that out. For example, if a judge will have a lawyer in the court that they know, they're going to say, full disclosure, I know this person, and they would usually be a bit tougher on that lawyer because they know that they're biased to liking them. So they should have done something to balance out their bias. And then they did like the whole you're the Princess Shireen of the House Baratheon. But yeah, I thought that whole thing this season for Stannis was rough. There was one amazing moment and the rest just was bad.
Terrible.
I feel bad for all the Stannis fans. I'm kind of a Stannis fan, but not this Stannis.
Terrible. It was terrible, and I'm a Stannis fan, or was a Stannis fan. I'm still a fan of Stannis people. I'm still a supporter of House Baratheon, without a doubt. Hopefully, we get a better person than Stannis to take over. Maybe it's Gendry. So don't think that I'm not running with House Baratheon. Still am. Next question is from Mona Carmona, and she says, "Hello, Mona. Why?" She didn't say hello, Mona. I'm saying hello, Mona. Why would Illyria poison Marcella?
Say hello, Mona too. Hi, Mona.
The question she has is, why would Illyria poison Marcella, knowing that it could threaten Tristan's life? If I know they want to seek vengeance for Oberyn, but they endanger their family by doing that, do you think Trystane, for that reason, will die?
Yeah, she either told him and he knows and that doesn't make sense, or he didn't know and she did threaten his life and possibly Duran knew about that. Yeah, I'm going to have a rant about Dawn. All right.
Go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have nothing to say about Dawn.
Okay. AFC04, do you think that Reek will start to act like Theon Greyjoy now, or does he stick with the persona Ramsay gave him? I think that it's going to be really hard for him to step out of it. He has been like emotionally, physically traumatized. This is not something you just, that's it, it's all sorted. It's going to be a process. I think he's going to be like half insane for the rest of his life. That probably wouldn't be that long. Tony?
Yeah, Theon's arc in the books is not he's going to become king. You know, it's done. Just like I said before, right there where he's at in Winds of Winter, he could be killed at this point. He could get sacrificed to the Wayward Tree like his sister's asking. Since they didn't show that in the show, it's possible, like I said, that he sacrifices himself or allows himself to be eaten by Ramsay's daughter to allow Sansa to escape with Brienne, and that could be his end. So I just don't think, I think his end's going to be him, you know, trying to get back, is doing one good deed before he dies. And that's it, and he's going to be done. Next questions.
Right. So, sorry, can we just do the questions of people who haven't been answered yet? Because there are quite a few that we didn't get to answer.
All right, there's one that's hiking through with Stephanie. Is that good?
Yeah, good. I don't see it yet, but can you read?
Yes, it says, "Hey, Tony and Bar, long time no talk. Okay, Peter's getting to go ahead from Cersei and take Winterfell from the Boltons. will the battle I've happen with Peter and the Veil, not Stannis, which we assume instead Theon will be picked up by Peter? Very good question.
That's a very interesting story because, wow, this is interesting because it could be that like the Boltons actually get a hold of Sansa, but they're working with Littlefinger. Like, he told Sansa that he thinks he will win, but maybe he kind of lied to her. Maybe he would jump in and do that, but I think it's more likely that he's going to be in King's Landing. All right, Tony?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I did not think of that possibility of that happening, but maybe the Battle Lights could happen with the Veil and Littlefinger. That would be great if it did happen too. Very, very good question. This question is from T-Baby, another small council member. Hello, T-Baby. How are you? Says, hey, guys, did you see John's eyes change color at the end? Great review this season. Thank you very much. Bar, did you see the eyes change color? I hear about this, but did you see it?
No, but I need to rewatch the episode. So maybe. How about you? You said no, right?
I watched it, and I watched it. There's a link somewhere online on YouTube where it just shows that last 20 seconds, and it seems that it appears that his eyes, the color of his eyes, not his pupils, do get a little lighter, but it could also just be that they're zooming in and it gets to be the light from the camera making it seem that way. It could be the start. They may start next season when they show John in that position, and it may just continue from there, and something may happen to his eyes there. If you see
I think we're going to see Ghost for a while and not John. Just to imply that it may be him.
That'd be great if they do. Do you see a question up there from someone who's asked one that we haven't answered?
Yeah. I think Tony Vasquez, will you start a book club for book 6 when it comes out? Well, we should.
That would be a very good thing. Let's see. Another question.
Plus, did the sellswords that left Stannis' camp get hired by the Boltons, Tony?
What was the question?
Will the sellswords that deserted Stannis, did they switch sides to the Boltons?
I don't know if they switch sides. If they switch sides or anything. I think I doubt it. I think they're just going back to Bravos. That's where they're supposedly from. So that's where I think they would go.
I think it's actually very, very likely that they did.
You think so? Really?
Yeah. Because I don't think the Boltons had that many people, and like they knew exactly where Stannis is at. I don't think that. I mean, that position, they walked from the camp that they knew where they were at. So yeah, I just think it's very likely. They're sellswords. They will sell. You can buy them.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I don't know if Bruce Bolton had the coin to do so, but that was a massive knighted a lot, charge by cavalry. I didn't think they had like that in the north like that, but I guess they did. Next question is from Thomas Wando. Why did Melisandre lose faith in R'hllor all of a sudden? She was convinced Stannis was going to be in victory. I think she's seen the right thing. She just didn't know what she's seen. And I think when you see her come back to the wall, you see her questioning everything. When you have this belief that she has in a religion, like, oh my God, everything was 100%, and then all of a sudden it's wrong. She truly believed it was Stannis. And now she's like, oh my God, I was wrong. Was this whole thing just a hoax? But it wasn't a hoax. She's going to see that she did get the right vision. She just didn't interpret it right. And I think that's what it is. But right now she's just shook because she believed 100% that she was right and Stannis was going to win and the Bolton's banners were down. And I think they will be down. It just won't be her with Stannis. And I think the interesting point is that hopefully Melisandre gets to Winterfell in the books. I hope that does happen because that leads to a lot of interesting possibilities.
All right, let's take one more question from 1998. Champions, do you think that Alden Reed cast some kind of glamour on Jon to hide some of his appearance? I would say that in order to have glamour, you need a ruby. and John doesn't carry a ruby, so I don't think so. Tony?
Yeah, I don't see any indication of him having something on him to lead to believe that he would be glamid, whether a pearl or a ruby or anything. So I don't see anything on him to make it go like that.
All right.
Is that
I think
all?
we're done with, I think it's all multiples from now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's all multiple. So I would just like to say, you know, overall season thoughts, Bar, real quick, just quick. I know you have a video coming out, so please watch Bar's video on a long version of her thoughts, but just a quick rating of the season, scale of 1 to 10.
3. It was disappointing in a word. Tony?
Yes, if I have to go, I have given it a steady 7 all season. But if I have to just rate it all together and expectations from the stuff that it could have been, I have to say this season was a 4. It did not live up to expectations. It's just, I can see it. Before I was like, wow, I don't think this show should ever end. Now I could say, you know, I could see it ending next year. You know, I think these guys made their money. I think they made their dough, and I think that they're ready to bounce on it. I think they got other things in life. They're ready to spend that money and stop taking this criticism and just say, you know what, I got our dough. Let's just bounce. I think that's the way they're treating. They're just firing right, full steam ahead, right to the end. Cut out everything, and that's it. Let's just get there as fast as we can, so we can go into Hawaii.
Like they have a clipboard with boxes, and every episode they just check some stuff off that list, and then they move on to the next thing. They don't put in the effort to try to figure out these characters the way that they did in the beginning, to try to understand where they come from and why they make their choices. And the reason that we can't make predictions that are valid about some people like Alistair Thorne is because they keep changing the characters. They flip them all the time, and that doesn't make sense. You either set up foreshadowings and you follow it through, or you leave red herrings that fit the story, that are not just there to be red herrings, just to throw you off. Yeah, overall, I'm happy with this with the series. Like I've said on the previous Q&A, a good act does not wash out the bad, nor a good act, nor a bad act good, whatever. And I think that even though it had some amazing moments with the Stone Man and Hall of Faces and Hard Home, it doesn't make up for having a really bad season. All right, so you got any more? You want to make predictions, something?
Well, you know, I just hope it gets better. Hopefully you're on Greyjoy and that it's not too late to salvage what they have. I think Lady Stoneheart is not going to happen. So I know everyone wanted that. Now I'm 99% sure it's not going to happen. So
really? Yeah. I'm actually, now that we see this stuff with the Riverlands, we have casting for Under Tali, we have what else did we see? Oh, the band of outlaws that are going to be in the Riverlands with the Hound's helmet. So everything is set up for the Riverlands. I think that if they do the Riverlands, they have to do Lady Stoneheart, and it might fit Series 6 very well. I just think they really should follow a bit more chronologically, not just to have like what they did this season, that they only focus on some things. I think show watchers can keep up with another focus. Like, I don't know, maybe season's going to be more Greyjoys and the Riverlands, and I don't think the show watchers are going to like that very much. I think they should have spread it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get Aegon. We're not getting that. You know, we're not going to have any battles go on down there. We're probably going to get the battle in Marine. We'll get that. You know, I just think it's going to be weak, the battle in Marine. If it's going to happen the way I see it happening, I think there's no different from the Battle of Blackwater. You're going to have Tyrion leading these guys, trying to defend them, and before he dies at the end, here comes Dany and the Khalasar, hey, that's most likely what's going to happen. You've seen that already at Blackwater. It'd be the exact same thing. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. I think that, you know, it jumped the dragon, without a doubt.
It jumped the dragon.
It
My
jumped the dragon.
intro for my book, for my series review, I did like the jump the shark slide in the beginning, because I think they officially did. Maybe it's like jump the cliff with all the whites. Maybe that was the moment. I don't know.
It's done. I
They
just think
passed their prime. I think we can all agree they passed their prime. It's probably only going to go downhill from now.
I said it before that when they had, you know, the best book, and you've seen what they did with the best book, it wasn't that great. What are they going to do with the other books that are slower and takes more, you know, detail to make it come alive? They're just not willing to invest the time. So I said, I just think they're done. I think they made their money and they're with it. You know, Oscar De La Hoya said it before. It's hard to get up at 5 a.m. and train when you're sleeping in silk sheets, you know, and I think their sheets are very silky right now with all the money they made. And it's hard to go on the road and do all those shoots when you got silk sheets at home. You know what I mean? I don't think they want to go on the road anymore. I think they just want to stay home and just chill. And I don't blame them, you know, so I don't blame them whatsoever.
Yeah, it's quite a commitment.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So I would just like to thank everyone who has watched the TNB Q&A this season. I would like to thank Bar for being here. Bar, would you like to tell them about upcoming projects and where people can find you?
Yeah. First of all, I'm going to miss these. It was a lot of fun. For me, it's a big commitment to do like 10 weeks of like the same thing every time it's the same week. So I was really, really having fun. I really love doing this with you, Tony. And although it was a pretty disappointing series, I had a lot of fun reviewing it. And I will have a series review on casting news and a rant about Dawn. And True Detective is coming back tomorrow, I think. And I'm really excited about that. I'm probably going to review that as well. And yeah, you can find me on Bartube. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Tony's channel. He has a lot of great videos. And yeah, thank you for having me, Tony.
Well, thank you for doing this with me. And yes, it was a commitment and it was a lot of fun. I wish it was a better season so we could have had a lot better things to talk about. Thank you for anyone who took the time to leave a comment, and the person who left the comment that said, would I eat my hat if Preston Jacobs and him was right? I did see the comment, and yes, I will do that for you. All right, I get down like that. Thank you to the History of Westeros, Radio Westeros, Carmine from Red Team Review, anyone who has watched, and that's down the Kraken with LT Giles, all the people, Mona Carmona, or Swift T, all the regular people that's always here watching every week. Thank you very much. I will have a video coming out soon on my channel. Also, I'll have a video coming out on the official Blaze manga channel, who did my artwork for the Daenerys video and the House of Undying. I'm doing something for them that's going to be on their channel. That'll be out very shortly, so please look for that. And until next time, peace and stay sexy.